We have breaking news here on New York Knicks Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green. The Knicks have signed a player, maybe someone you may not have heard of. That is Duane Washington of the Phoenix Suns. He went to the Ohio State, also played with the Indiana Pacers last year. He has been signed to a two-way contract for the rest of the season. Adrian Wojnarowski broke the news earlier this morning saying the Knicks are planning to sign guard Duane Washington Jr. on a two-way contract, sources tell ESPN. Washington averaged 7.9 points in nearly 13 minutes for the Suns this season. When I went back and looked at Duane Washington's stats, I was surprised how much he actually played and how well he actually played. There was a stretch from December 20th to January 10th where he averaged 14 points per game, 3.6 assists, played 17.7 minutes per night, and shot over 43% from downtown. Washington has also scored more than 20 points 4 times this season, and he has 11 double-digit games scoring this year. So this is a guy that can get buckets. He's someone that can light it up from the outside, doesn't shoot that well of a percentage from the field because most of his shots come from downtown. This is someone that's going to be a bench piece for this team that I really don't expect to play all that much. We'll talk about the roster coming up here in a second, but when you look at what he's done in his young NBA career, year 1, he spent it with the Indiana Pacers. Year 2, he was with the Phoenix Suns. In year 1, he played 48 games, averaged 9.9 points per game, almost 2 assists, shot 37.7% from downtown and 40% from the deck as a whole, where in 2023, he played in 31 contests for the Phoenix Suns, averaged almost 8 points per game, 2 assists, and shot 36.7% from the floor and 36% from downtown. So this is someone that likes to light it up from downtown. He likes to get his shots off from beyond the arc, and that's kind of what the Knicks needed. This is someone that in his rookie year shot 4.5 threes per night, and this year he shot 3.6 threes per night. Well, Washington, excuse me, almost choked right there, is someone that's going to be on the back end of this roster. I'm also not expecting him to play all too much because when you look now at this full roster for New York, it's pretty much full. This is the starting lineup following the Mitchell Robinson injury, and now you're really more than 2 deep at almost every position. You got Quickly and Rose off the bench at the point guard spot. You got Josh Hart and Miles McBride at your 2. You got Evan Fournier at the 3, really a wing. Trevor Keels can play 1, 2, or 3. Washington's really a 2 or a 3. You got Toppin at the 4, and you got 2 backup 5s, and Isaiah Hartenstein and Jericho Sims. Sims and McBride aren't really playing. They're not a part of this 9-man rotation. I'm really not expecting Washington to be a part of the rotation, but if he is, if he comes in, he's going to do what he does. He gets his threes up, and he knocks them down at a well above average clip. So I want to ask this question before we get on to talk about the ass whipping that the Knicks put on the Boston Celtics last night. I want you to grade the signing of Duane Washington for me down in the comments section. A, B, C, D, or F. I want to hear your grade down in the comments. If you get hit with that YouTube ad break right about now, just scroll on down and let me know. I grade this a B signing because at this point of the season, when you have to add someone to your roster like the Knicks did because they had 13 players on their roster for 2 weeks and they signed Trevor Keels to that 2-way contract, still had another spot. A lot of people thought it was Daquan Jeffries that was going to be elevated from the G League. It was actually Duane Washington Jr. I don't expect him to play much, but I like the signing, and I think this could be a move that rolls on for maybe into next year. It could get him a training camp invite. Maybe he comes back in the offseason looking to make a roster spot. If he comes in the building, shows Tom Thibodeau and Leon Rose he's willing to work hard, be one of those gym rats that Tom Thibodeau's always talking about, first one in the facility, last one out, he can make a good impression and make a case to be on this roster going forward. And if he comes in the games and knocks down some shots, he's quickly going to become a fan favorite here for the New York Knicks. I like the signing. Don't expect much from it. But when you get a guy that shoots 37% from downtown and he's young, only 22 years old, I'm cool with that. The Knicks needed more shooting. And if Washington plays, he will give them that. I do want to let you guys know that you should be subscribed to the channel because when the Knicks make a move, we have a video for you guys as soon as possible. News of the day, the Knicks have signed Duane Washington Jr. to a 2-way contract. We're breaking that down. We're also talking about the big win the Knicks had last night over the Celtics. Sub for Knicks Dubs. Help us get to 18,000 subscribers. We're about 250 away. Hit that big red sub button. Sub for Knicks dubs. We're going to get to the breakdown of the Knicks and Celtics game coming up in a second. But first, I got to give a huge shout out to today's sponsor, Cultivate. Go to wecultivate.us/chatsports to get hooked up today. That link is in the comments and description of today's video. Cultivate is the free browser extension that brings transparency to your Amazon shopping experience. Cultivate shows you the brand, seller, or product origin and identifies local alternatives that support local community efforts while saving you money. With over 50% of Amazon U.S. sellers based in China, Cultivate offers a way to avoid trickery from these sellers and keep the money in the U.S. economy. Cultivate offers alternatives that are on average 30% less expensive than Amazon without any additional costs such as Amazon Prime. It can even identify local alternatives that you can pick up the same day. Cultivate users earn free donations as rewards for using the extension, and the more you use it, the more you earn in donations by increasing your level. In fact, Cultivate donates 51% of the revenue they make on your purchase. So what are you waiting for? Go to wecultivate.us/chatsports and download Cultivate for free. Let Cultivate bring transparency, savings, and community support to your Amazon shopping journey. Support the show and download with our link. It's down in the comments and description of today's show. It's also right below me, wecultivate.us/chatsports. That link's in the comments and description. Shout out to Cultivate for sponsoring today's breaking news video. I do want to wrap up today's show talking about the Knicks' blowout win over the Boston Celtics last night. One of the best wins I think the Knicks have had in a really long time. I know Jaylen Brown didn't play, and you can complain about that. Now they didn't beat a full-strength team. I'll tell you this much. They just beat the team with the best record in the NBA, and they beat them by 15 points, and I don't think Jaylen Brown would have made much of a difference. I want to hit on a couple of things I felt from that game. Emmanuel quickly, not just last night, but really since December in that OKC game, has been playing like the sixth man of the year. Last night he had 23 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, and he was efficient. 7 of 13 from the field, 5 of 6 from the foul line, and 4 of 7 from downtown. It seems like the Knicks don't lose any juice when Jalen Brunson comes out of the game. When you have Emmanuel Quickly who can come off the bench, and you have Josh Hart who can come off the bench, that's really a duo of a super sub that really just embodies what the Knicks bring. I'm extremely happy with the way Quickly is playing. A lot of people that don't watch are just going to be like, he's just a bucket getter, and that's not just what he is. He's one of the best perimeter defenders at his size in the NBA, and he gets everyone involved, and he's a momentum shifter when he makes shots. The crowd goes crazy. He tweeted last night he loves the Garden. Quickly, the Garden, they love you. I also want to talk about Mitchell Robinson a little bit, who has been an absolute difference maker since he came back from that hand injury. Robert Williams, he didn't stand a chance last night. Mitchell Robinson was his daddy. Mitchell Robinson had that amazing block on the rim on Jason Tatum. Dude got in his feelings and ended up getting ejected because he's so soft and didn't have Big Bro there. Mitch Rob has been electric. He dominates the offensive glass. He is just a difference maker for this team. Their team defense at the end of games, when you have Quickly, Josh Hart, and Mitchell Robinson on the court, that is a deadly, deadly unit. I am pumped up for what Mitch Rob is going to do the rest of the season. What's crazy is despite Brunson and RJ struggling, while Brunson didn't have a bad game, he certainly didn't have his best game, had a team high in plus minus, but shot well below 50% from the field, and RJ having 5 turnovers, it was easy for the Knicks. This game really never was in doubt. They won from wire to wire. I don't want to bang on RJ too much. Didn't have a good game, but he had a really nice stretch in the second quarter. Rattled off 8 straight points, was responsible for 10 straight points when the Celtics were trying to claw back into it. That's just the RJ we need all 48 minutes of the game. Put your nose down, get to the cup, put pressure on the front of the rim, and if they double, make a move and make a pass out of it. I still believe in RJ, but he's really got to pick it up. Brunson, I don't worry that he's going to pick it up. I know he will. I also want to give a big shout out to Julius Randle. A lot of people know I am not the biggest fan of him, but when he's playing like this, I am going to support him through and through, and he continues to get things started. He might be the best first quarter scorer in the NBA, and it seems like he just always gets the Knicks going. When that comes out, he knocks down that first 3. Feels like the Knicks win. If someone in the comment section can let me know when Julius Randle's first shot of the game is a 3 and he makes it, what the record is, I'll give you like $10 on Venmo. Also, Josh Hart is a junkyard dog. Everything he does is what the Knicks need. Their game-winning plays. He had a play last night where he taps out an offensive rebound. I think it falls out too quickly. Then he spots up for three, catches a pass, and knocks it down. Then the very next play, I believe he had a stop on defense. Then a couple plays later, he goes coast to coast off the rebound to the cup. Just everything this guy does makes his team better. We're a different team with him, and we're a special team with him. I can tell you this much. The Boston Celtics, after the Knicks beat them twice in the past week and a half, they don't want to play the Knicks in the playoffs. Look, the Knicks, you're 9 games over 500. You're in sole possession of the 5th seed, and it looks like you might be playing Donovan Mitchell and the Cavs in the playoffs. My confidence is at an all-time high. So I want to ask you, what is your confidence level in the Knicks? Scale it from 1 to 10, 1 being you're not confident, 10 being this is the most confident I've ever been with the Knicks. I'm at about an 8.5. This team, it's not just a run. It's not just a 6-game winning streak. This team is damn good, and they are getting hot at the right time. I give it a 7.5, an 8, 8.5. This team is freaking fun. Give me a follow over on Twitter at @MarshallGreen_. It's another way you can stay up to date with the latest Knicks news and rumors.